guys, another video. Just wanted to talk about what life is like with kids. And there's a couple reasons I want to make this video. First off, if anyone is looking to have kids, maybe give you a little insight into what the world of children is like. Secondly, and probably more important, is I just want to let other dads know the stuff that they're going through, like out there, is normal. That there's other people that are going through it. That you are not bad parents. You are not doing a horrible job. Like, this is just hard, insane, new, crazy. It's always changing. There's never one right answer. So because of that, you get this world of craziness. So I just wanted to throw some stuff out there, like what's necessarily happening in our kids' lives, and what are some normal things that we go through, we deal with, and some things that, maybe just throwing out ideas that might help you guys with stuff. And if any of the issues that I have, maybe you guys know some answers to, you can throw me some love my way too in the comments below. Just again, dads coming together to help each other out is really what this channel is all about. So first thing, time is valuable. And what I mean when I say that is this. For my first son's pretty much first 6 months of life, I really wasn't there because of work. I'm a Marine. I missed his birth because of training, and then more training came, and I was always going to the field and had to go to other places. So because of that, I missed pretty much his first 6 months, and then I also had to miss his first birthday, which changes things. Changes how he reacts to me in certain ways. We've been working through, like, me being able to put him to sleep and stuff like that. Him actually being able to trust me. He'll be 2 in August now, and it's still like there'll be a lot of times where he still prefers his mother over me. And that's understandable because she's been there from the beginning. She's fed him, clothed him, been there for all the craziness. So because of that, he's naturally going to gravitate towards her. Now, with our second child we just had, who is a month old, I'm here from the start. And because of COVID, I haven't really been to work much. So I've definitely been a lot more involved in his life. So it's a little bit different. I can hold my son and he doesn't cry as much. Obviously, when he wants, milk, I don't have boobies, so I can't do that. But besides that, he actually wants me to hold him and stuff like that. And he, it's different. And I imagine as it continues on, it's going to continue to be just a little bit different. So that means, like, every second that you get with your kids is a blessing, is something that you should treasure and try and make the best of. Another thing, you're always learning. No one has parenting 100% figured out. If they told you that, they're lying to you. I don't care if they have 50 kids, a million kids, 2 kids, 1 kid. You're never going to have it completely figured out. There's always going to be something that comes out of nowhere. That's going to be a curveball. There's going to be something that's different and changing. So, the experts are going to find out something else new that we didn't figure out before. And that's just, what happens with the evolution of time and as we advance as a society, sure. But you're always going to be learning because you're always going to be trying to understand your child. You're going to be trying to understand what they're going through, what's best for them right now. What do all of the experts say about this stage of life? My job was intelligence in the Marine Corps, and I never thought that I would be gathering more intelligence on my kids than I would be on some of the people that we deal with. That's just how it is. You're always going to be looking things up. You're always going to be trying to learn, talking to doctors, talking to psychiatrists, therapists, just trying to get this broad spectrum of information so you can make the best decision for your kids. You know, it's just the name of the game. And if you're not doing that, it's harder to make decisions because you just don't know. And, you don't know what you don't know. So because of that, you'll be looking at a situation on like, why is my kid not eating? And you'll think, oh, he's got this crazy stomach disease, and it just turns out he doesn't like the food. I mean, you just try feeding him something else, you know what I mean? Or something else like, why does my son have acne and he's a month old? Well, that's actually normal. There's multiple different things that can cause stuff like that. And 99% of it out there is actually just something normal that happens with babies. Over time, it goes away. Sometimes you just use a lotion, apply it every night, and over time they'll just grow out of it. You wouldn't know that unless you looked it up, unless you did the research, unless you talked to doctors. And I never thought I would care about baby acne, but here I am. So you're always going to learn, and it's a good thing. The more you learn, the better decisions you make for your kids, and the better your family will be overall. You will always have to make more of an effort to be with your wife. So obviously this is for fathers who are married. Time with your wife becomes almost non-existent with a newborn and with 2 kids. It's hard. You gotta make it work. The time that you spend with your wife, where you need just you and her time, you need to make it a priority. And if that's having someone watch the kids one night a month, if it's when they're in bed every night, you and her just sitting there having a conversation, talking. She needs to know that first off, the work that she's putting in is being valued, and that you care, and that you're thankful that she is being the mother of your children. Also, the relationship that you guys have, you need to cultivate that and grow that more. So it's just things that have to grow more over time, and things that you're going to have to kind of figure out as a couple. But it definitely needs to be made a priority. And kind of some of the other things like scheduling, like time scheduling, that has to get worked into there and fit that. And no one has a perfect schedule. No one. There's always going to be changes. There's always like some things that have to work and flow in and flow out. Like you always try and keep things around the relative same time, but there's just days where it's impossible. So you have to work and flow with it. The same thing happens, with your relationship with your wife. You need to make sure that's important. And you're going to slip up sometimes. There's going to be times where you might go a week and you realize you haven't had like a legit just you and your wife. You sit down, talk, or even just laying in the bed, just laughing about things, talking about stuff that you're both going through, things you're worried about, or anything like that. And just you need to make it a priority. It just really needs to be a priority. Guys, it's okay to ask questions. We are men, and we are prideful, and we do not like to admit we're wrong. We don't like to ask for help. We don't like stuff like that in general. I'm like that a lot. It's okay to ask questions. It's not a sign of weakness. I believe it's a sign of wisdom. I believe it makes you smarter than most people because you understand yourself, your limits. You understand what you know. Obviously, you try and look for the information yourself. You try and see if there is a way that you might be able to figure this out yourself. But it's okay to ask questions. People have done this for thousands of years before us. We don't have to figure it out on our own. Just don't. It's pointless. It's going through an unnecessary struggle. And that's why it's important to get surrounded by a group of fathers and dads who've been through similar things or are going through similar things, so that we can share with each other ideas that we've come up with or things that we've learned, so that we can all grow and go through this crazy life together. So, cool. Everyone else, every other parent on the planet is going through something similar. Your situation is not so unique and so crazy that no one else has ever heard of it, most of the time. Obviously, there's those 1% of situations where it's something no one's ever heard of. Maybe you're going through a certain medical condition or things like that that is new or they just don't understand yet. But even most medical conditions that kids have or just toddlers that they go through, there's a support group out there for that. There's doctors and there's parents who've been through it already or are going through it that can share advice with you. So just know that even then, if you're still part of that 1%, you're not alone. You can still ask for advice and help, and maybe just throw questions out there like, hey, this is what my kid's going through. What would you try and do in that situation? Because even if necessarily we don't have the same issues, 10 brains working on one problem is going to be better than one brain working on it, especially if that brain's divided by a million other things. So kind of goes back to the asking questions thing too, but just know that everyone's going through something similar. You're not the only ones dealing with kids not sleeping, kids not eating, kids look weird, this circumcised right, all that stuff. That's normal. Everyone's going through that. You're good. Ask questions. Your budget changes completely. If anything, it's almost like sometimes it completely disappears. And you lose, because sometimes you can honestly just lose track of, all right, what did we spend on diapers this month? What did we spend on wipes? Do they need more clothes? How many pairs of shoes do they have? Why did we buy this many of this? You go to the store and you end up buying them toys, but every day if you buy them dollar toys, it starts to rack up. You know what I mean? Just all these other things. Everyone's going through that. Obviously, try your best to get a handle on your budget. Dave Ramsey has a really good financial peace program out there. That's honestly good. But the first thing from starting all of it is just understanding where you're at when it comes to your budget. And there's a couple of good apps out there that actually just track what money's coming in and what money's going out. There's this one called Charlie that I use, and it literally tells you this is what you spend on groceries, this is what you spend on this. Every time you spend something, it also sends like a transaction notification. So you can understand, I put $1,700 in the bank this month, 2 weeks, but $1,400 came out. Okay, so where did that $1,400 go? Okay, cool. We need to go to McDonald's less and put more money into savings. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So your budget changes. That's normal, obviously, because there's just a million 10 things you never thought you're gonna have to buy in your life, and you end up having to buy them. So it's okay. For us, we have the app, but it's still kind of hard for us sometimes to still really get a handle on it. We're gonna try and start taking cash out, even though with all this COVID, there's some places which aren't taking cash, which is illegal. But another topic, another time. We're gonna try and do it with cash and kind of rein in our budget that way a little bit more too. So we'll see how that works. What you eat is going to change, or it can change necessarily. So kids do not need this strict only diet. It's okay if they eat snacks every once in a while, but obviously every kid's different. What they're going to eat and how it affects their body is going to be completely different than some kids. Some kids have gluten allergies. Some kids are lactose intolerant, obviously. Some kids have no issues and they can eat like a horse. That's our son. But sometimes he doesn't want to eat either. And he'll just look at meat like it's weird, but he'll eat chicken nuggets like it's cool. So stuff like that. And that's normal. It's normal for kids to play with their food. It's normal for them to keep food in their mouth and just let it sit there. Yeah, weird thing. Never thought that would be something I would even talk about, but he just lets his food sit in his mouth. So obviously we have to watch him a little bit more because there's been a couple of times where he's almost choked. But yeah, that's normal. Apparently it's something they go through. They're figuring out textures and stuff like that with their mouth, and they're figuring out what they like. So even though it's a little weird, it's normal. If anything is slightly weird, you will freak out. I've done it. Anything slightly off, you're just like, okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Why is it like this? Then you start automatically going to, it's cancer, we have to chop off a limb, he's dying. 99% of the time, that's not the case. Even the stuff that we've dealt with our son, he had this like weird rash that started going on his chest, and he was coughing a little bit, and we were like freaking out, went to the doctor, and it's something normal that they get around 6 months or whatever, and we were just like, wow, we would never would have known that. But it's like, you're freaking out, he's got a rash, he's coughing, what's wrong? I think he even had a little bit of a fever too, not high, but you know what I mean? Stuff like that. You're just like, whoa. Kids get fevers. Obviously, if it's too high and it lasts, that's when they want you to go get them checked, right? Kids get rashes. It doesn't mean their body parts are falling off. Kids cough, kids sneeze, kids make weird noises. Their body parts do weird things because they're still growing and developing. They cry because they're teething and you don't even know it, but then they start chewing on your pillow and you're like, maybe that's a sign. You know what I mean? So just because they're crying, it doesn't mean there's actually something wrong with them. And it's okay sometimes for them to cry. Obviously, you just got to learn and understand your kid. One thing that's becoming, especially with COVID and everything, readily more available is being able to video chat a doctor or a nurse or something like that, which is so much better than taking them in, because you could be a little bit scared about something. You take them in and they actually get something from the doctor's office because you took them into the sick clinic instead of, it was nothing in the first place, but now they have something because they went there. Don't just search on WebMD and think you're a doctor. My wife likes to do that, and then it always ends up being wrong. So, especially if your insurance covers it, video chat with the nurses, video chat with the doctors. I guarantee you'd rather just video chat and make sure everything's okay, and then you learn something new than it be something worse. But also, don't overreact. Even if it is something that you're like even a little bit more scared, you staying calm, cool, and collective keeps your family calm, cool, and collective, and actually can help you handle the situation better no matter what it is. So when your wife's freaking out, you calm her down, say, hey, we'll take this step at a time and we'll take care of this. When your kid's crying his head off, like, bring him back to his center. Maybe give him a popsicle. It's okay for kids to eat popsicles. Bring them, calm them down, bring them back into just where they need to be so you can handle that situation the right way. Kids get bumps, scrapes, bruises, sick. They'll be good at the end of the day. I know, especially when we first had our first son, when I actually was able to come and be with my family, we didn't go out a lot and we didn't do a lot of things. And it was always a struggle to kind of get everything together, get out the door, and maybe go do stuff. There's tons of stuff you can do as a family. There's tons of things. You can go hiking. You can go look at thrift shops. That's something that we actually like to do. With COVID, we definitely don't do that as much. But you can go check out children's museums. You can go check out aquariums, other types of museums, zoos. Like, there's so many. And even with COVID, there's so much outdoor stuff that you can do. Pools, beach, different parts of the beach. There are, I don't know if everyone knows this, but it's not just sand, water. There are parts that are actually like rocks and all this other craziness. Like if you go to a different beach, there's different drive-on beaches. I mean, there's tons of different stuff. And with all of that, obviously be safe, know your kids. If they're pale, like my first son, bring sunscreen. If they're gonna be around bugs, bug repellent, all that stuff. But don't think because you have kids it's the end of the world, that you're not going to be able to go out and do things. And what makes it easier to go out and do things is having things ready. When you bring the diaper bag back, if you had snacks in there, replace those snacks real quick. If you use one of the bottles, clean the bottle, swap it out with another, you know what I mean? And it only takes a couple of minutes. We always have extra onesies and an extra set of clothes. One for the onesies, obviously for our newborn, and the set of clothes for our almost 2-year-old. And if they get used, just replace them real quick. Take that 5-10 minutes, a little bit of extra time as soon as you get back to take care of that. It'll just make it so much easier for when you need to go the next time, because all you got to do is grab the bag and go, or grab the bag and a sippy cup with water for your toddler. You know what I mean? Like it just makes going so much easier. Just proper planning makes everything easier. Obviously, you can be spontaneous and do things, but even with necessarily proper planning is just having a general readiness so that, hey, out of nowhere, we want to go to the pool. Yeah, let's just go to the pool. Some people with kids would think that's completely like, you're insane. We've got to go grab this, that. Well, we have our beach bag already ready. If we want to go to the pool, all we do is grab towels, our bathing suits, the beach bag, a diaper bag, and we go. That's it. We have everything already there. So we're not going, where's this? Where's that? Climbing through a garage, fall, hurt yourself, all that craziness. So just think about things beforehand, have things ready. It'll just make it easier in the long run. For us, we've seen that it's made us easy. And last thing is, obviously this is really difficult. Being a parent is hard. Anyone who says it's not, I think you're lying. It's hard. Not necessarily hard like I hate my life, but hard in the fact that this is a good, hard thing. You are bringing this life from infancy to adulthood. You are helping them survive, teaching them, growing with them, learning things from them, and they're learning things from you. And there's this connection that happens with a father and a son and a mother and their child. And it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's one of the most rewarding things. Even with our son, who's about to be 2, there's so many times where I'm just so thankful that we have them in our lives. And there's also a lot of times where I want to bash my head against a wall. And that's just because there's frustrating things that happen. And it's okay if you're frustrated as a parent. It's okay if there's times that you get to your breaking point. It's okay that you think you're doing a bad job. But what I'm telling you is you're not. That's normal. Everything's not going to go as planned. Kids are going to do things that are crazy. They're going to do things that frustrate you. They're going to do things that frustrate your wife. Your wife's going to do things that frustrate you. You're going to do things that frustrate your kids and your wife. And probably other people around you too. That's normal. You just always got to bring it back to the center. You got to stay calm, cool, and collective. And you got to get back to that place where you can be that warrior father that you need to be to take care of your family. It's a lot of responsibility, but it's a good thing. It's something that should be taken with pride and honor. And I grew up in a situation where my dad, when he was there, wasn't doing a good job. And then when he did leave after my mom and dad got a divorce, and visitation and all that was still horrible, and then just came a point where we really didn't see him at all. So I didn't have a father figure, really. I just had a lot of examples on what not to do. And it makes me treasure and want to do the best job I can for my kids, to set them up for success, to give them the best chances at having an amazing life. And I pray that's the heart of anyone coming on this channel. You want to make your family's lives better. You want to make your life better. You want to become a better father, more of a warrior. You want to not just help yourself, but help others around you. You want to spread a culture of warrior fathers that are present. And for those that necessarily don't have a father in the picture, you can come on this channel and learn from the other men that'll be here. You can actually grow and develop as a male and as a warrior without necessarily having your father there. Obviously, any of the men here, and you, obviously me, will never replace a true father figure present in life, but I just want to give everyone a chance, the best chance at becoming the best they can. And I think that, this channel will help set them up for success. And dads, like I've said over and over again in this video, what you're going through, there's nothing new under the sun. We've gone through it, or we're going through it. It's okay to ask for help. Let's come together as the warrior fathers we want to be and make a difference. All right? Later, guys. I'll see you next time. Like, subscribe if you want more content like this. Obviously, flood the chat with more stuff, and let's share these ideas. Let's come together as dads and raise our kids for changing the world. You know what I'm saying? See you next time.